Hey, you want to see something really scary?
What's your favorite scary movie?
I'm gonna scare the hell out of you.
What was living behind that boy's eyes was purely and simply evil.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
When there's no more room in hell, the dead will walk here.
What's blood for, if not for shedding?
Welcome to Fright Night.
Welcome back to Jump Scare. I'm Betty.
And I'm Chad. This
episode, we're covering Horror of Dracula, 1958.
This is the story of Dracula, a creature who destroys all whom he touches. Dracula the terrifying, the feared, who sleeps in the tombs of the dead by day and arises at night to inflict his terror upon the innocent and the unsuspecting.
Oh, you must help me. You must. You're my only hope. You must.
I'll help you. I promise.
Please try and understand. This is not Lucy, the sister you loved. It's only a shell, possessed and corrupted by the evil of Dracula.
How do you destroy a fiend who has so far proven himself indestructible? Those who come to end his reign of terror stay to become his victims.
Castle Dracula is somewhere here in Klausenberg. Will you tell me how I get there?
You ordered a meal, sir. As an innkeeper, it's my duty to serve you. When you've eaten, I ask you to go and leave us in peace.
This is the doctor who dares to challenge the vampire Dracula. This is the anguished man who fears for the lives of his beloved, the girl who is his sister, and the one that is his wife. Dracula, the bedeviled master of all that is evil.
This is one of the Hammer films.
Yes.
Starring Christopher Lee.
As Dracula. Of course, we already knew that.
And Peter Cushing as Van Helsing.
Also starring Michael Gough as Arthur Holmwood. You may remember him as Alfred in the 90s Batman movies. He was in all of them playing Alfred.
Yeah, that's pretty wild because, I saw the whole movie and I didn't even recognize him because, obviously...
He's so much younger in this than he was in the Batman movies. He's unrecognizable. He's
probably like 45 here.
Yeah, because I think he was in his 70s in the Batman movies. That'd be about right.
Man, Hammer Films obviously has the classic Hammer look.
This one, by the way, was written by a guy named Jimmy Sangster and directed by Terrence Fisher. And the two of them worked on a ton of Hammer movies together. They did the Curse of Frankenstein. They did this Horror of Dracula. They did Revenge of Frankenstein, Scars of Dracula, Blood of Dracula. They did a lot of Dracula and Frankenstein and the Mummy movies. They were all about it. They worked together multiple times with the same writer-director and Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee. They were working together all through the 60s.
Now, there's a sequel to this film called The Brides of Dracula, and I am interested in watching this film.
Okay.
Because, I love The Brides of Dracula. I don't care what movie it is, the Brides of Dracula show up, I'm all about the Brides of Dracula. To the point where I cosplayed, my Halloween costume one year I was a Bride of Dracula. because I just love it. I love and it was the classic, like, I love the white nightgown look.
Yes.
You know, it's like, I think my favorite brides of Dracula are from Monster Squad. I really like the brides of Dracula from Monster Squad.
Yeah, they did a good job there.
Yeah, because they went from like college girls to brides of Dracula, and it's great. So I did not know going into the film, obviously Christopher Lee, like you can't, like, you know Christopher Lee, right? Had no fucking idea until probably I don't even know how long, maybe like 30, 40 minutes into the movie, that I don't know if you said something or whatever, and I was like, oh my god, that's Peter Cushing. Like, Peter Cushing could get it. He was hot. Like, he was very good looking in this, for me. I don't he was hot in this movie, which is a weird thing to say.
Now this takes some liberties with the Dracula story, because this starts off the kind of like all the Dracula stories where, now this one was very low budget. They made it for like $80,000, and it should be noted that it made $25 million against an $80,000 budget.
And they paid Christopher Lee $750 to be in the movie, and he only talks one time.
Yeah, he has like 10 lines in the whole movie. I guess that's why they could get away with it, because he didn't say that much. So
yeah, he was just being Dracula, whipping his cape around, going, you know, here and there.
But yeah, so $25 million now would be over $250 million in today's dollars. So this movie was a monster hit for Hammer. And that's probably why Terrence Fisher and Jimmy Sangster and these guys got to keep making these movies throughout the 70s, because once you've made a place that kind of money, they want you to keep doing that and keep that money rolling in, you know? So it starts off like most of the Draculas, with Jonathan Harker going to Dracula's castle. He's meeting Dracula, staying in the room. But this one, as he sits down and writes in his journal, you realize he already knows Dracula is a vampire, and he's there to kill him.
And did you mention that it's not his wife or his fiance?
His fiance is not Mina in this.
It's not Mina. It's Lucy, which I was really bothered when I saw when Christopher Lee enters the room. Okay, to give freaking, he tells him like, I'm gonna be out tomorrow until like fucking sunset.
I'm gonna be out vamping about. I won't be back until after dark tomorrow.
He doesn't say vamping out. He's like, I'm out. But here's the keys to the library. You know, he gives him the keys to the library. He sees the picture. Now these are the two things that irks me. He sees the photo of a woman. He's like, oh, who's that? May I look upon her face, or whatever the fuck he says. May I look upon her? And then he looks at the picture. First of all, if you're there to kill Dracula, you know what Dracula's about. Why are you leaving pictures of your girl up for everybody to see? You hide that shit and keep that shit in your bag. Don't even bring it with you.
Yeah.
Why are you out here? That's like you showed up with, I don't know, a young supple woman. Like, is she an appetizer?
You just taunting Dracula to come after your woman.
Yeah, come on. That was a stupid thing that you could fucking do. So yeah, that was
this.
So when he said Lucy, and I was like, that's not right. That's not, because it does say at the beginning, right at the beginning, they say like based on Bram Stoker's Dracula.
But by this point, Dracula was already public domain, so they could do whatever they wanted to do with Dracula.
Yeah, so it's just one of these where it's like not the story. They kind of like you said, they kind of messed with things here and there. So,
and they also had a very limited budget, so they weren't going to show you him traveling. This Dracula is set somewhere in Germany, and Dracula takes a carriage to get from the castle to get to the other town. There's no ship. He's not going on the Demeter. They don't have ship money here. They don't have money for that.
There's no ship money.
And they talk about how, Dracula doesn't turn to a wolf or a bat or anything like that. That's all just a fallacy, because we don't have money to turn Dracula into a wolf. We don't have wolf or bat money here.
Yeah, again, with the one-liner, just takes care of everyone's questions.
Yep. And this one, like I said, Harker's there to kill Dracula. Of course, Dracula has a bride, which I don't understand why Dracula would go off and leave this bride roaming around the house that's like free to just talk to Harker and ask him to escape with her, and also notice, oh, Mr. Harker, I can't help noticing you have a very clean, supple neck.
Yeah, this is the other thing. Like, first of all, when they showed her, I was like, who the hell, who this? Like, okay. She's wearing a Grecian dress. So, I was like, okay. It's white. And not only is she walking around in this Grecian dress, she looked mad healthy. She don't look like someone that's being drained ever so often by. She doesn't look like a bride of Dracula. She has rosy ass fucking cheeks. Okay, she is alive. She's very much alive, and she out here telling Jonathan, like, save me. He has me kidnapped. I'm forced against my will. He's forcing me in here. Like, when Dracula shows up, okay, which you don't know, it's by her reaction, the whole shit reaction, where she fucking just runs the fuck away, like, doesn't even say anything, just runs away. And that's the first time you see Christopher Lee at the top of the stairs. And that moment is pretty fucking amazing, because Jonathan Harker turns around and then, there's Christopher Lee, all 7 feet of him, just fucking standing there in his long ass, like, suit with his damn cape. You know, like, oh shit, she ran away. As a British gentleman would, he does not mention the woman at all to Dracula. He's not like, hey, this woman said...
Who's this woman asking me to help her escape from the castle here? He's just like, this seems like none of my business, I'm just going to go on with my life.
No mention whatsoever. No mention ever, actually, until, obviously, there's
she tries to bite him.
Yeah, it's obvious, and they have to have a scuttle about it, but it's like, okay, so... the woman looks completely fine, and she shows up here and they're asking for help, you know, for him to like take her away, whatever. But then she's a bride of Dracula, and I'm like, how is she a bride? She looked like she was just out sunbathing like the day before, real healthy looking.
Well, maybe she hasn't been there that long.
She had the fangs, okay. Then later on, when you see Lucy, she looked mad sick. Like, she real pale. Okay. I don't know, you know, to make her look younger, I guess they put her hair in braids, like Dorothy braids, which is fucking weird. I don't know what that was about, but okay. Like, but at least she looks like she's ailing in the bed. This woman's jumping up and down. She's running around. She's running here. She's running there with her Grecian dress, with her fucking pink rosy cheeks. I was not about that.
Now, this one, too. Once that it's obvious that, you know, Dracula knows what's going on, he locks Harker in his room and is like, you assume he's going to come for him that night. So Jonathan Harker waits until almost nightfall.
He locks him in the room before anything goes down. He locks him in the room the first night.
I know, but after the bride attacked him, he locks him in the room again. And Jonathan Harker, you know, he waits until almost night, goes down into the crypt. There's Dracula and the bride. So what does he do? He stakes the bride first.
Yeah, dumbass idea.
And then Dracula is just looking up at the sun going down behind the clouds and everything in the window, and like as soon as he's up, then you just see him pop up. He leaves, comes back so he can make a dramatic entrance.
You don't see him leave at all. As the audience, you see that his eyes are open. He looks to see whatever he's looking at. And the whole time it's on, the camera's on Harker, him killing the lady, and
which I do like that when he kills the bride of Dracula here, after he stakes her, she turns to an old lady.
Yeah, because she came from fucking Greece, apparently. So she went back to being an old ass lady.
And then, you know, like you said, he disappears. He goes to stake Dracula. There's nothing there but a coffin full of dirt. Then he looks, and oh shit. There's Dracula at the top of the stairs. He comes in, it's like, aha. And then we don't see Harker again.
Okay, wait, let me go back about the Greece thing. In my mind, she was like 1,000 years old.
Oh, okay.
That's why I said Greece and Greek. Okay. I'm thinking about like the Greek myth, you know, that whole thing. But okay. So, yes. So he's, oh my God. When you finally you get into a scene, that's when Peter Cushing arrives.
He arrives in the village and is like, hey, I'm a stranger here in the town, fancily dressed, while the rest of you are all dressed like peasants. Have you seen my friend? And they're like, nope, we do not know what you're talking about, sir. We do not know about anything about someone going to Dracula's castle.
And he's like, what about this letter that I sent? it was sent to me from here, and shows the freaking girl, and she's like, oh yeah, and then the guy's the owner of the establishment is like, go guy, go make the food or whatever, and is trying to shush her away, and she's like, oh no, I don't know anything about that. Side eye. It's
And
just
then
like,
she brings Van Helsing and goes, he was a very nice man. I found this in the road. And hands him Harker's diary that has everything in it that's happened up until the point that
yeah, because she said the Harker said to like burn it. And
yeah,
she kept it.
The innkeeper said to burn it.
Let's talk about the beautiful bread that came to the table.
Yeah, they bring him. They're like, here's something to eat while Inga fixes your dinner. They bring him this beautiful loaf of bread that tasted amazing, and also probably had 9 pounds of salt and butter in it, which probably made it taste amazing.
I could eat that right now.
Yeah. They bring it to him, and he's just sitting there. He's Peter Cushing. He's got his fancy brandy and his bread.
His brand, and he looks real good. Okay, he looks real good. He looks very respectable, and he's out telling the innkeeper like, "What's up with these flowers of garlic?" Like, and he's like basically like telling him like, "Look, we both know some shit's going down.
We know there's a vampire around here,
and we know why you got these.
I'm here to handle this problem." And the guy's like, yeah, I don't think we want you handling any problems around here. We got our issues, but we like it this way. What?
Yeah, no, there's no we like it this way. Y'all like sacrificing a virgin a week. Because this is the thing about Christopher Lee's Dracula in this movie. Man, he's insatiable. Like, he just will not stop. He's just like one thing after another, but it's because every time one of his women get murdered, he's out looking for the next woman. Like, he's not wasting any damn time. But my thing is like, why did you let this stranger enter the house, Jonathan Harker? Why did you let him enter the house? Maybe because he's Dracula. He's like, no one's gonna fuck with me. I'm Dracula. I'm gonna kill them. Like, I'm not worried about my woman being
already
murdered.
like 500 years old at this point.
I'm not worried about that. So he was just the ego of Dracula that got his ladies murdered, because the first one got killed, and that's why he took revenge. Because that's what Peter Cushing said. He's out for revenge.
So he went back. Now this one's a little different too, because when the next time we see Jonathan Harker is when Peter Cushing goes in there and is looking through the crypt in Dracula's palace, which as he's coming up to the Dracula's castle, there's like the black coach comes out with Dracula's coffin in the back of it, which, by the way, I don't know how that coffin was holding Christopher Lee, because there is no way that coffin was big enough to hold Christopher Lee.
It was like 5 feet.
Yeah, and Christopher Lee's like 6'5", so there's no way he fit in that coffin, but
no,
that's one of those things, you don't really see him coming out of that coffin.
Was it his coffin?
Yeah.
I guess, but it wasn't him in it, because the reveal is when Cushing gets to the burial site, he opens it, and it's Harker in there.
I know, but I'm saying Dracula was leaving in that coffin.
Oh.
He left his stone coffin in the palace.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, when Van Helsing gets there, there's Harker is in the, like the crypt thing. He's there in that, and we don't see Van Helsing take care of it, but we hear later, like, yeah, I handled Harker. I did.
Yeah, because they see him take out his tools, and he's like kind of like shaking his head over his friend because he's distraught. Like that was his buddy, and now he has to
kill him.
He has to save him. He has to save his soul.
Yep.
Which is sad.
Yeah, he goes back and he tries to help Lucy, but of course he tells him like right away, yeah, put this garlic up all over her room. Do not open the windows for any reason. Keep the windows locked at night. Don't let her out of your sight. So the first thing they do is, of course, they let her out of their sight.
It's the freaking servant, Gerda. She done fucked everything up, man. She was the worst servant ever. They should have just fired her ass because she was terrible. She, like you said, she opened the door. She
opened the windows. She took all the garlic and the plants away.
But I also feel like Van Helsing, he did a terrible job at trying to get Dracula, because he was just like sacrificing all the women. He's like, oh yeah, okay. No, he didn't. Like in the other movies, at least the mofo stayed in the damn castle. Like he stayed in wherever the people were sleeping. He didn't go away. Like he stayed with them, and then obviously, gave them his sage advice and told them to do this and that. I mean, Dracula's gonna get what Dracula's gonna get, but in this one, because he can't turn into mist or bat or anything, he has to be like physically there. So I guess maybe that's why
they had to have
didn't stay, because then the movie would have been over in 5 seconds.
Or Van Helsing.
Oh, Van Helsing. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Van Helsing.
So this would be one of those ones that I wish they would have had a little bit more money for, because they did a good job with this, but I would like to see them had a little bit more money, because if they could have had the money to do a set where, like, can you imagine Christopher Lee like on the Demeter and doing all the crazy shit on the boat? Would have been awesome to see. I guess. Well, we'll have to see if it gets better with the other ones. This is not it's a Hammer film, you know. It's a classic horror. They're known for the low budget, and yeah, you know what you're getting into. This is not anything. I mean, it's better than most, you know, for the most part. It's better than most of the Dracula movies they made in the 90s and early 2000s. Obviously not speaking about Francis Ford Coppola's Bram Stoker's Dracula. But I have to say, the coolest part of this movie, for me, was when they are trying to figure out. So eventually it gets to Mina. He goes after her. And, you know, they were staking out her window and the other entrance to her thing, and they were both on it. Like, Van Helsing and the husband were very diligent and whatever. And then, you know, I guess the maid comes in and sees the freaking, you know, wife, you know, on the bed. She's bloody. Like she's dying. And they're like, oh my God, how the fuck did he get in? And they're just boggled. They don't understand how Dracula got into the house. And they have to do the old-timey blood transfusion on her. They got the huge needles in their arms. They're doing the blood transfusion. And I love it when Van Helsing says, you know, he's cleans their wound up on the arm. It's like, oh, get a rag with some cologne on it and put it on Mina's forehead. Yeah, I don't know what the cologne was. I don't know. As soon as the guy gets done, he's like, now, you've just given a lot of blood. You need to rest and drink some wine. Maybe have something to eat. Maybe because the wine has resveratrol in it. Like, it's, you know, it's like an antioxidant. Maybe that it was just like a good for him kind of thing. Or just one of those things back in the day. They were like, you got demons in you. Let's drill holes in your head and give you cocaine. Yeah, but back in the day, chocolate was very expensive. And even though they were okay, I don't think that they were like super well rich off. So they would have wine because it's something that you would have. So that's sweet. It's made out of grapes. So maybe there was, because they, when, you know, after you give blood, they give you something sweet, right? Isn't like the whole thing? So maybe that's where it was. But I need to know more about the cologne though, because maybe it's like a British thing. I don't know. Like, we're thinking cologne like, oh, they're putting perfume on this bitch. But I don't know if that's what's happening. Like, is that what it is? But out of all of that, they give her the blood, the transfusion or whatever, which that's I'm like, when they ask how are they doing it from the husband to the wife? Do they even share the same blood type? Also, if they share the same blood type, are they not supposed to have children? Is that why they didn't have kids? I have so many questions about that. But they ask Gerda to go bring Van Helsing a bottle of wine from the cellar. And she's like, no, I was told not to go to the cellar. He said, why is that? He goes, oh, about 3 days ago. Oh, right when she got sick with the Dracula bite. And they jumped out of their fucking chairs and ran down to the fucking cellar, and there was fucking Dracula. And you're like, oh, damn. The fucking goal, bro. Dracula was in the house the whole time. Just hiding out. There's a great scene where when he gets away from, he gets out of the basement and runs up, you know, he's going up to go after Mina. And Peter Cushing runs and like jumps over the railing on the stairs, like in a mad run. Yeah, just jumps over it. And it was him doing it. Like, you could see his face. It was a great like trick because he just threw himself over the rail and kept running. From this point on to the movie is the best parts of the movie, because these men are not fucking around. There's one part where Peter Cushing jumps on like a fucking 50-foot fucking curtains. Okay, like a spider monkey. I love that. It's at the very end, and he's fighting Dracula. And Dracula, of course, getting the upper hand a little bit. But he gets away and jumps up, runs across the dining table, throws himself, like you said, like a spider monkey onto this huge the drapes over there and rips the drapes down. And that's when we get to see the amazing disintegration of Dracula.
Yes.
That looks pretty good. Even by now, it looks pretty good.
No, it looked pretty good. I do, before we get into the disintegration, because I have some comments about that, I just want to make a comment that I need to go back and see if pinky rings were a big thing during this time frame, because every man is wearing a pinky ring. And now we're going to go to the disintegration. So you have Dracula. He's Dracula. Then he's fucking a skeleton. Okay. Then his eyes like glow.
Yeah, it's like he's like a desiccated corpse, and you still see his eyes like glow.
His eyes are glowing, like they're like, and then they get sunken in and go away, and then he turns to ash, and then you see his freaking pinky, like his hand starts to like get turned to ash, and you see that he's also wearing a pinky ring, and I'm like, damn, everyone's wearing a pinky ring in this movie. And then he turns to ash, and then
you even see his hair blow away.
Yes, the hair blows away, gets swept away in the wind, and you're like, what the actual hell?
I've never seen like before where Dracula disintegrated and his hair stayed behind, and then they just were like, well, someone's got to sweep that shit up.
Because the hair and the nails is what stays on with you forever. It keeps growing, right? So
that's a myth. It doesn't keep growing. It's just that your body shrinks away from the hair and fingernails and makes it look like they're growing.
That's not cool. We're going to say that it keeps growing.
Okay.
So, I mean, in the movie, obviously. I didn't mean in real life. In the movie, so that's why. And back in the day, I'm sure they thought that.
Yeah.
That was whatever you just said right now. That's like new information.
Yeah, probably wasn't well known in the 1950s.
It definitely was not known. But this movie, I mean, technically is not set. The period is not 1950s. Yeah. It's like fucking like 1835 or
1885.
Some shit. There you go, 1885.
But yeah, I love this. It's just crazy enough. Like I said, I just wish they'd had a little bit more money, because I feel like if they'd had a little bit more money, they could have done some more crazy things. Because just seeing Peter Cushing run across that table and rip the curtains down was amazing.
Him jumping over the banister. I mean, he watch out, Tom Cruise, because back in 1950s, he was a Tom Cruise of his time.
He was running and jumping over everything, yeah. And, we commented, too, that, like, man, this movie, everybody in this movie must have been mad hot, too. Because everybody is, at one point, Peter Cushing is wearing a wool suit with, he's got a shirt. I'm sure there's an undershirt.
There's undershirt,
shirt, a vest, a wool vest, a wool jacket, and then a coat on over that with a wool scarf and hat. Like, God, they must have been, either they refrigerated this set to like 30 degrees so no one died of heat stroke, or these people were mad sweaty during this, because it had to be rough. Because
I would hope, this is what I would hope, this is the only logical thing, that they filmed this during a time where it was cool. Because
I would hope so.
There's no air conditioners. And at that time, there's no way, you don't see one fucking bead of sweat from anybody in this movie. Everyone is just normal. So there's no way, with those lights, the lights themselves in regular clothing is fucking hot. So it must have been somewhere like where it was freezing outside, like cold, or it was like spring, where it was not like definitely summertime. But obviously summertime in 1958, wherever this was filmed, was completely different than summertime now.
Yeah, it wasn't as hot, I'm sure.
But no, definitely not as hot. Way cooler, but still hot. So I don't know. I would hope so, because there's no way. And if they did, they fucking had these people on set fucking just there roasting. Just dabbing their freaking faces to fucking have the sweat away.
Also, it was the 1950s. They probably had some horribly carcinogenic deodorant they just put on everybody too, or antiperspirant that they just sprayed everyone.
Yeah, but not on their face.
No, who knows?
Yeah. Oh God. Well, yeah. They did make that poor child smoke cigarettes all the time. What's her face?
Judy Garland.
Judy Garland. Yeah.
And look, this is the same time period when they filmed that movie with John Wayne out in this. They're like, oh, we tested a nuclear bomb here, but that was like 5 years ago. It's fine now.
I'm dead.
Everyone in that movie got cancer and died.
Yep.
It's like, well, that seems suspicious. But yeah, so
that better have been a good fucking movie.
It was not.
That's
John Wayne played Genghis Khan.
Oh no.
Yes.
No, that's bad.
It's real bad.
And then he died.
Yeah.
So that's not good at all. I give this film 2 knives.
2 knives?
Come on. I can't give it more than 2 knives. Like, what are we saying? That this film is just as good as whatever film I've given more than 2 knives?
No, this is a 3 knifer minimum.
Okay. For you?
Yes. For me, yes it is. This was the kind of creature feature I saw. I probably saw this when I was younger, and it's just been a long time, but because parts of it did seem familiar as I was watching it, but it's just been forever since I've seen it. Because this was the kind of thing that they used to show on like Saturday evenings or sometimes even in the afternoons. Because there's nothing in this that, not, of course, in the 1950s they probably had to edit this for TV, but in the 1980s they could show this on Saturday afternoon and no one was going to complain because there's nothing in this movie that's going to freak anyone out.
Yeah.
So I like I said, a lot of this seemed familiar as it went along. I was remembering things like, oh yeah, I think I did see this. So
fine. In the Hammer universe, in classic films, so what we're going to do now in 2026.
Okay.
We're coming up with a new rating. I'm making it right here, fresh out the bag, right? We didn't rehearse this. For films that are, from we're gonna do like these films, the 50s, 1900 to 1960. They're going to have a separate rating, okay? Because those films at that time, that's why when in the 80s and the 90s, but mostly in the 70s and 80s, when horror films started coming out, people were like, horror movies, because they were just like, what were they going to show? What was it going to be? It was going to be Christopher Lee running around. Like, it wasn't anything scary, you know what I mean? They had that's when horror really began, right? It wasn't hokey.
When you started getting The Exorcist and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yes.
Because this is, I'm sure in the 1958 this might have scared some people. But now it's not going to scare anyone. I'm sure our daughter could watch this and not be afraid of it at all.
No, there's no way. So they're gonna have a different rating system for them. Okay. So in this world of classic, I will give it the 3 knives. Okay. In modern day, I'm giving it 2 knives.
Okay.
Okay. But we're gonna say classic horror, fine, 3 knives. And I may take back my rating in another movie later on. Maybe I find someone that's better than this movie.
All right.
But because this movie did so well, and you said brought life back into Hammer Films, so they can continue because they were on the verge of
they weren't doing well in this, but this brought it back, and they were like, oh shit, we need to make more of these right away.
Yeah, we need to make fucking 18 more movies.
Yeah, tons of movies written and directed by this guy, starring Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee. Get them out there.
So maybe
this was the Marvel movies of their time.
Oh my god!
I'm sure people were sick of them and like, Jesus Christ, these guys are never going to quit making Dracula and Frankenstein movies, are they? Because they're in Frankenstein, Dracula, they do it all.
It was like the Three Stooges and Laurel and Hardy. It was
there were so many of them. But yeah, they had their phase. I'm sure, like I said, people were probably sick of it by the time it was over with.
The next one we're going to have to see is this Brides of Dracula.
All right.
We're just going to have to do the follow-up. Maybe we'll do it for our 2026 second serving.
There you go.
That's going to add that for that. Well, thank you so much for joining us in another episode, a classic horror episode of Jump Scare, the horror podcast. Stay tuned to the horror.
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.